Hey, it's Adrian, and today I'm taking a look at SoundPEAT's brand new Air5 Bluetooth wireless earbuds. These have an impressive 13mm dynamic drivers, Qualcomm's S3 platform, which also includes their aptX lossless audio. There's hybrid ANC, they're super comfy and lightweight with up to 6 hours of battery life in a single use or 30 hours with the charging case included. There's also a dedicated gaming mode and multi-point functionality. Now, all of that sounds good, but there's a couple of things missing from the Air5s that may or may not be deal breakers for you. And how about if you own the Air4s like I do? Is it worth upgrading to the Air5? Well, we'll take a closer look at that as well. And a big thanks to SoundPEATS for sending these out for review. In the box, we have the Air5 earbuds, sticker, user guide, warranty card, and USB Type-C to Type-A cable. The design on the Air5s is pretty eye-catching, so we have this kind of reflective surface on the outside here. I'll just go ahead and pop one of these out, and here's a closer look at what it looks like. So it's kind of a gradient type of color here, which looks very sharp, and then we have the SoundPEATS logo on the side. And then taking a look at the speaker grill, that's what it looks like. So that's that semi-inner design. So it's pretty much a glossy type of finish on the earbud side, and then on the stem it's more of a matte finish, and this is the right one, and we have the metal charging contacts at the bottom. Now they fit very nicely in the case, and it's an improved case design from the Air4s, which are a little bit harder to get out, but with these you could see you have very easy clearance to take these out and put them back in. The other thing is the magnets are pretty strong on here, so you can have these upside down, shake it, and you're not going to have any issues. On the bottom of the case, we have a connector or pairing button, USB Type-C port to charge or top up the charging case, and then these SoundPEATS writing on the rear here, and then also their slogan, hear your imagination at the bottom. So yeah, all in all, pretty nice design. These are also very lightweight, coming in at roughly 4 to 5 grams per earbud, and the entire thing with the case and everything is only about 44 grams. Now, if we take a look at the previous model, the Air4, as you could see, it looks a little bit bigger than the Air5s. And when you open it up on both of these, you could see the difference. So it's a little bit, more room on the Air5s to take them out. And both of these, you can just do it, kind of one-handed to get access to everything. Now, just to quickly compare the design of the Air5 and the Air4, so this is what it looks like close up. So you can see it's a more refined design on the Air5 for sure. Looks a little bit more premium than the Air4s. Here's a quick look at the specs. Feel free to pause or jump ahead to the next section. I'll go ahead and pair the Air5s to both of my phones since we have multi-point connectivity. So the first thing I'll do is hit scan, and I can see it right here. So Air5s paired. And I could see it right on here. If I go into the options, I can just enable it for calls or audio. Now let's do the same for the Z Fold 6. So I'll just turn off, or I'll just disconnect it from the first phone. Go ahead, hit scan on the Z Fold 6. Here it is. Air5s, pair. And I could see it's connected here, and I'll go back, connect it here. And there we go. So it's connected on both phones simultaneously for easy device switching. Let me demo the multi-point. So I'll play it on my first phone. And I'll stop it here, play it on the second phone. So you can see the multi-point is not super seamless. So when I stopped it here and played it here, it still pauses. Now, because I stopped it here and I waited, like say 3 to 4 seconds, if I play it here, it's gonna kick in right away without auto pausing. But if I do that very quickly, I just pause it here and play. It's going to play for a bit, pause, and then I have to do it back. So you do have to give it a couple of seconds before it switches over. So it's not the best implementation of multi-point, but it is there. Let's take a look at the settings for the Air5 in the PEATS Audio app. So at a glance, I could see the battery life for each earbud individually, along with the charging case. I can switch it from normal mode to noise canceling, and there is this ear canal type. And when you make different settings based on your ear canal shape, it actually does result in a difference. So definitely try that out. And that's going to impact music and even the noise cancellation. Now you also have an option here to disable all touch controls, and you can enable game mode if you like. You can also go into custom key and remap it for the single click, double click, and you could do it independently for right and left here. And then you can also do triple clicks and also a long press. So super handy to be able to have that much fine control. And then we can also go into the equalizer option here. You can set it to adaptive EQ. This is not something I generally use. And then you could see all the preset EQs. So I usually go between classic and the electronic and sometimes the rock. But yeah, you do have them here. And you can also go ahead and create custom equalizers if you like. Now, lastly, you could also go into here and just check for firmware upgrades. You can also adjust the earbud prompt volume from, a really high setting to something a bit lower, or just mute it completely. Touch controls are really easy to use, especially because you could remap it how you like. So I have it set so that a single tap will increase the volume and decrease the volume. You can also do a double tap to pause music and a double tap to resume playback. Again, you can set these on both or just one of these. And then you can do a triple tap to activate the voice assistant if you actually use that feature. And you can also do a triple tap to activate game mode on or off. You can also do a long press for 1.5 seconds to switch through the different modes or to switch tracks. You're not going to be disappointed by the sound coming out of the Air 5. So these are well tuned and very expensive. And thanks to those 13mm dynamic drivers and the aptX codecs, the sound that this delivers is very powerful. Highs are crisp. You don't have too much overemphasis and not a lot of sibilance when listening to vocals. It just comes through nice and clean. Bass delivery is also pretty good on the Air 5s considering it's a semi-in-ear design. So you get that satisfying bass thump, and the bass is fairly deep as well. Of course, it's not going to compare to, in-ear earbuds where the bass delivery is a bit more directional and tighter. Now, one thing I did notice is a little bit of a prolonged bass decay in certain songs where it's bass heavy that can kind of, muddy vocals a bit. So you're definitely going to want to stick to, the classic equalizer, maybe the electronic equalizer. I don't think there's a need to really go into any of the bass boost ones unless you really want to prioritize that. Now, if you already own the Air 4s, should you go ahead and upgrade to the Air 5s? Now, the Air 4s have gone through, a lot of wear and tear for me because these are kind of my nighttime routine earbuds. Since they're semi-in-ear, it's quick to put them in, take them out, when I'm brushing my teeth, kind of winding down for bed. And after listening to the sound from both of these back to back, the Air 5s are a clear winner. I even noticed that, when I had them at the same volume level, these didn't need to go as loud to sound as good as they did. Whereas with the Air 4s, I needed to bump the volume up a little bit. And even then, it wasn't the same type of richness in the sound. So if you have the Air 4s like I do, and you're considering the Air 5s, I would just say go for it. Already the ANC sounds so much better, and it's just a better sound, quality and uplift across all frequencies with the Air 5s. Now, the active noise cancellation or ANC performance on these seriously impressed me, and I didn't think it could sound this good considering these are semi-in-ear earbuds. And the fitment on the right side is a little bit loose for me, but this did a phenomenal job. It actually performs better than some in-ear earbuds that I've used. So one thing I noticed in the Peats Audio app is that they have a setting for ear canal, and I guess this is for or to adapt to the different ear canal morphologies or anatomies of ears. So you can actually cycle through and see which one sounds best for you. And it did a fantastic job, even with music blasting. Once I turned ANC on and I was only listening to music on here at around say 30 to 40%, it did such an effective job of just minimizing that noise. So even if you listen at a little bit higher volumes, you're really not going to have an issue with the ANC on here. That alone could be worth the upgrade from the Air 4s. I tested the Air 5s out on a bunch of calls and also with some simulated background noise, and it did fantastic handling it. Here's what that sounds like. Here's an example of what microphone audio sounds like coming out of the Air 5 earbuds, and I'm in a room that's super quiet with little to no ambient noise. I now have very loud simulated background noise playing on my phone in close proximity to the Air 5s, and this is how it handles background noise when you're talking on the microphone. I also didn't have any issues while gaming with the Air 5s once I put them in the low latency gaming mode. So the battery life on these are rated for up to 6 hours of single use and 30 hours if you add in the charging case. Now, I've gotten, a little over 5 hours on average, and I find that I actually don't have to listen to these, very loud. I'm only usually at around 50 to 60%, and I find them quite loud already. So depending on the volume level you listen to, it's going to really impact the battery life on here, and of course, if you use ANC or not. So I mentioned at the start of the video that these are missing a couple of things that may or may not be deal breakers to you. The first thing is that there's no smart wearing or in-ear detection with these, meaning if you're listening to music, you take these out to talk to someone, it's not going to automatically pause your music and then resume playback when you put it in your ear. The other thing is that there's no dedicated transparency mode on these. Now, that one is not as big of a deal because it is a semi-in-ear design. You can hear a little bit of what's going on around you in the world depending on the fitment of these. Just something to be mindful of. So the SoundPEATS Air5 earbuds are a great option if you're looking for semi-in-ear earbuds. And if you own the previous model, the Air4s, and you're deciding or contemplating upgrading to the Air5s, I would just say go for it. The ANC performance on these just blows those out of the water, and the sound performance on this is miles ahead of it as well. On top of that, you get multipoint functionality, responsive touch controls, and again, the ANC performance is so good considering these are semi-in-ear design, and the sound is just so powerful and rich thanks to those aptX codecs. So if you're interested in picking up the Air5s, I'm going to leave links down below for you to check it out or to learn more. And if I have any coupon codes, I'll leave those linked in the pinned comments and video description as well. If you found this video helpful, consider checking out some of my other headphone and earbud reviews. I review a bunch of different models and also a bunch of different tech on this channel, so I'm sure you'll find something you like. And if I can ask a huge favor from you, would you mind liking and subscribing? It truly does help me out as a small and growing channel, and it would mean so much to me. But I'll see you in the next one soon.